So, ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat for this new session. Please take your seat. Okay.
Hello. So, does it work? Yes. Okay. So I call on stage. I call on stage the representatives of the 5 special mention. So, yes, please. I'll just call you Madame. No, just please go ahead. Deputy Mayor Madame Audrey Poulvard. Elle est là, oui. Et Pak Jinjin. Please come on stage. And Filippo Tiago. Alvaro Porro is already there. And David Massey. Wow. Okay, so thanks to everybody. So I put a face to the projects, and just very few words, because we are a bit running out of time. And well, just a few rules. More or less, we have 45 minutes, and it's 5 practices that we are going to share. So I'll be the watchdog. No, I will not spend too much words. The floor is yours to share and talk with our friends. I will try to give you a few hints when we are about 5-6 minutes. I will just name your city, your project, who you are, and we'll try to leave a few minutes for question and answer. But if, of course, any of our friends, they can join you afterwards. I will take a few seconds, and I believe, like on behalf of all of us, to say a warm and very big thanks to the organization of the Secretariat. Tremendous organization. Thanks to the city of Milan, the mayor, the vice mayor, Andrea, Filippo. I'm not capable enough to name all of them, but thanks a lot for your support. A tremendous team. And as we said, this is about knowledge sharing. So if you want to take your time just to leave on the side the phone and devices, and just dedicate our few minutes to listen to these experiences, perhaps we will all learn something useful. So, as I said, let's start very quickly with Deputy Mayor Audrey Poulvard, la seule femme ici.
Oh, you speak French. Great.
And it's a big pleasure. It's a very big pleasure and honor to have you here. Your project was on the second category. Filippo, I will say the name. We will not ask the people. Sustainable diets and nutrition. The name of your project of your practice is Third Plan Alimentation Durable, a sustainable food plan for the Parisian collective catering. Audrey, the floor is yours. We analyze this, of course, this holistic strategy, but this social aspect.
Okay, and I have 5 minutes
I will tell you.
Okay, no problem. But it's one shot 5 minutes or 5 minutes and the question and so it's
No.
it's
5
one shot
minutes,
5.
we go around and then if there is any question.
Okay, so I got 5 minutes. So I will speak in French because it's more convenient for me. Donc 5 minutes, dont 1 minute et demie de vidéo.
5 minutes, and I'll have to be very quick to say that my delegation in sustainable diets is something that was created by our mayor with three different objectives. First, to reduce the agriculture impact and food in Paris on the climate, because agriculture and food represent 25% of the green gases in total. And the second objective was to improve, of course, public health, broadly speaking, and what this has with the global development, everything, and also to allow a decent income in terms of the farmers, the fishermen, etc., that themselves supply food to Paris. And the third objective was to provide healthy and good quality food to each and everyone, so that everyone could afford having these kind of food. How can we organize these 3 points? First of all, we have committed ourselves with sustainable food. And by that, I say that we have 3 million meals a year in the different school meals, in the basic school. And so also we work on popular restaurants and also with home delivery to those that are vulnerable. Today, 54% of this collective effort is made by biological elements that many times travel a lot of kilometers. But we developed all this program with a lot of effort, and it took us very long to set up all these guidelines. And we adopted this sustainable plan because the idea is to reach 2027 with 100% of only sustainable food coming from nearby Paris, of course. So I do hope that the translators are able to translate me, because I'm going very quick. Anyway, all these produce and greenies, etc., are coming nearby Paris, giving us this kind of healthy soup. I am also rewarding all the what we call green producer or green farmers, the crops, so that we can really try to reduce the animal protein. Well, we have a new tool. I have to be even quicker because I do not know how much time do I have left for me. But anyway, the idea is broadly to have a tool called agricultural tool, so that we can foster their production. And also we decided to work on these different neighboring territories, of course, with political, working with different communities that are engaged in this kind of effort. And the idea is to structure the idea of production, of transformation, of logistics, also for supply, and also the valuing effort of all these individual efforts. We have the tool and we have the plan. This is the broader sense of our plan. The idea is on one hand, to do all the mesh and to having, of course, solidarity efforts with what we call the shared kitchen, giving them sustainable food meals. And also we have different activities with the following up of all these units so that we can, on one hand, have the collective effort, giving the tariff that can allow people to have access to this healthy food, and also the idea of giving all the solidarity efforts. And also, can I have just one more minute? Just the last point. I would like to present you a very short video, which is the question of the urban agriculture. For me, this is a way of getting together or trying to come closer to the healthy food with the urban life. Because, of course, we know that in urban cities we have different boutiques and that's it. But for the modest people to have access to sustainable food is a challenge. I would like to show the video, but if I cannot, okay, I stop here. You are the watchdog and you tell me. Okay, it's a very short video, if you don't mind.
It's short. And le projet Pariculteur, qui est le projet phare de
The project Pariculture it's something that gives me a lot of pleasure, and I am very much using this kind of tool. So it's with a lot of joy that I do convey to you this success story. And for me, it's a very good way of showing what we have been doing. Thank you very much.
For sure that the pact will support on this future aim, and more than anything to reach the 2027, you said, 100% goal. And now we move on to the fourth category, which is the one we lead it. So for this category, we took the advantages of having not only one but two best practices with two colleagues of mine, because they are both head of food security and agriculture chief of office. First of all, we start with Pak Jin Ajar. As I said, he is head of food security and agriculture department of the city of Bandung, Indonesia. And the name of the project is Integrated City Food Security. The name of the practice already speaks on itself. The floor is yours, and if you may, give us some hints about your practice and pretty much on the part on the aspect of involving communities, which is very strong on your practice. The floor is yours. 5 minutes for you as well, not like Audrey.
Okay, thank you. I already prepared for that. Good morning, everybody, senora and senoris. Okay, sorry. Yeah. First of all, I would like to thank you, the 8th MUFPP Global Forum meeting, especially for Mayor of Rio de Janeiro, Eduardo Paes, and also Vice Mayor of Milan, Mrs. Ana Scapuzzo, and also Mr. Filippo, my brother, and also the crew and from MUFPP Secretariat. Due to your facilitation and support, I am able to sit here on delivering and introducing Buruan Saya in this amazing event and also in the lovely city Rio de Janeiro. My name Gin Ginanjar. I am head of Bandung Food Security and Agriculture Department. It has been an honor for me to be here and share with all of you who are concerned about food sustainable issue. Today I try to discuss the unique selling point of Buruan Saya as a city-based practice model. But before I continue this presentation, again, thank you for award that given to us for Buruan Saya. I dedicated this achievement to all of our lovely pentahelic stakeholder of Buruan Saya. Bandung, the third of biggest city in Indonesia after Surabaya and Medan, in becoming center of government, economic and trade and education in West Java. Bandung is creative city and also Bandung is known as the city of Asia Africa. Between Bandung and Brazil is not very close, and for its journey to reach Rio de Janeiro, for me it's amazing. It is my first long journey experience. The quote from our first president, Mr. Sukarno, is an inspiration on how we pay attention to food governance in the city of Bandung. He said, food is the life and death of a nation. It will be catastrophe if the people food needs are not fulfilled. It needs massive radical and revolutionary effort. Bandung with a population 2.5 million people is a service city. Metropolitan city is not in agriculture producer area. Bandung almost doesn't have any productive agriculture area. The food need mostly come from outside the outside the city, almost 97%. Achieving city food security, we develop small effort as strategy based on family and community through integrated urban farming we call Buruan Saya. Buruan Saya is Sundanese, mean yard home garden. The word Saya, apart from meaning good, orderly, and or neat, is also used to abbreviate Sehat is healthy, Alami is natural, and Economy is economic. Sehat, healthy mean is use self-management such as the use of organic fertilizer and natural pesticide with a friendly waste management. Alami mean that agriculture land in the yard is treated naturally, thus creating a natural environment. Economists mean that the yard is managed independently and the result can be used directly so as to reduce household expense. When the first time this integrated urban farming policy issue, it was aimed to provide sufficient food, especially for family or household. Buruan Saya could be easily assessed directly by utilizing unproductive yard around the home. Buruan saya is planted with various food which can fulfill the family food consumption and reduce family food spending for vegetable, fruit, medicinal plant, fish, chicken, livestock, management of organic waste and household waste to be compost or animal feed, nursery, and in the future, we dream that Buruan saya may enhance the income of the community through circular economy. Buruan saya have several unique selling point. Buruan saya is not only integrating various food, but also integrating many strategic program of Bandung City, such as Kang Pisman program, reduce, reuse, recycle, Bandung Tanginas, Bandung respond to stunting with safe and healthy food, as well as strengthening family nutrition through pregnant and breastfeeding women, strengthening family economy, community empowerment, and or community development, education and agriculture tourism, economic acceleration recovery program, and the most interesting is it become a trend for strengthening immunity and happiness while the COVID-19 pandemic still exists. Buruan saya is becoming a government approach to improve nutrition, safe, balanced, and varied food in Bandung City through strengthening the community development. Besides that, the spirit of togetherness and pentahelic from government and university as so on. As a result, Buruan saya adapter come from many professions, including a journalist, army, and so on is the key success of Buruan saya. Farming is becoming part of the people Bandung and Center for Public and the spirit for togetherness. That's all that I can deliver. I hope this presentation bring benefit to all of you. We still have many obstacles in developing Buruan saya. Therefore, a collaborative effort with all parties from various disciplines and cross-country is important. To sum up, based on Bandung experience on practicing Buruan saya, we invite everyone to provide healthy food starting for home. Let's optimize our yard to produce food by our own hand as much as we can. This is our note from Bandung. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I hope this spirit will descend on us and help you with the next practice. Is the city representative Filippo Tiago de Jesus, Director of Food Security and Strategies. And we are moving from Indonesia to Brazil in Curitiba. I remember very well when we went through your practice, and of course you have 5 to 8 to 7, 8 minutes to tell us about your practice. And I was very impressed from all the practices, but I do remember the attention that your practice had in terms of physical constraints, policies that they were taking care of transportation. I found that very inspiring, and please, if you may share this practice with us. Thank you very much, Tiago.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to congratulate the city of Rio de Janeiro and the steering committee and the Milan Pact, the opportunity of getting to know Indonesia, Paris, and all. They are all very dear to us, and to get to know, we can be inspired by the bees. They're so small, and they carry their wings the way through feeding the world, and in cooperation, they produce what is the sweetest of all honey. And every initiative, every explanation that has been presented here in these 3 days of event, that can be spots of light that will lead to this thought of abundance. When I see the proposals, I see that we are in the right path, that we are building a future with the right conditions for the future generations. So in this sense, we start now. I start now my presentation. Curitiba has started an urban agriculture work more than 30 years ago. With the green farms, we have suffered with the development, speculation, and we have been providing the conditions. We have this green belt with more than 40,000 family farmers, and they need sustainable production models, and we also need quality water, and understanding this dynamic and the increase in the interest, the demand from the community for new productive spaces. This has been turned into a municipal legislation that stimulate and allow the family agriculture, the urban agriculture, and this was a boom. We had this explosion of interest and the need to look for knowledge to develop these practices. In this sense, we have the urban farm, this urban farm in Curitiba. This was the first in Brazil, public-owned, public-based, and universal access, the development of several technologies, and also fomenting or fostering the green development and the green technologies. We count on solar energy, 72 panels that we have that will provide all the energy in terms of irrigation, administrative structure and facilities, cook the kitchen and all. We also use the rainwater connected to a startup system developed by young people in the city, and they have this automatized irrigation system that guarantee efficiency, exceptional efficiency, in terms of automation for this irrigation system. We have a large water basin in Curitiba. We have 4,000 hectares irrigated by the technology developed in the city. We also have a food bank at the location. We have a kitchen school. We welcome the sectorial groups. We have volunteers from churches and all, and we promote this community through partnerships, institutions, governmental institutions, and NGOs. We look for education to emancipate the citizen through cuisine. And also in the urban farm, we have the honey gardens. In Brazil, we have 75% of our biodiversity of native pollinizers in the world, and our dear native bees, no sting, and we count on that in our biodiversity. And this increases the rationality, the food rationality of the population. They understand what is the agro-ecosystem, urban and rural. So the urban farm brings all of that together and establishing a link between rural and urban, taking the knowledge both for those that want to produce and for those that want to consume, for those that want to connect with a more natural life and be inspired with new possibilities, also to generate entertainment and income for those that need. So we have the composting plant that will provide the composting for the neighbors of the green, the non-conventional food plants. We have green houses. We have 6 species of bees and only 4,000 square meters. And we are building the second farm, green farm, urban farm, to bring this model of forest succession in a very didactical way, so that we can all understand the evolution of a product system till we build all the water sources, and we understand that only the process of buying directly and institutional support for purchases is not enough. We have to empower the farmers so that they can be entrepreneurs, that we have a competitive market, that they can be as soon as possible free from this model of this public government. Well, of course, they need to be fostered, they have to be supported, and this is how the second urban farm is being built, and we have the third urban farm, and we will have a popular restaurant in the most needed area of the city. So today we have 146 community gardens in Curitiba, 40,000 farmers, and we have to connect the production, market, and consumer, showing that the city is the main starting point to change the food system.
Thanks a lot, Tiago.
Por favor, 40 segundos.
We have a very brief video, 40 seconds. Curitiba, a city where intelligence, simplicity. Okay, you have.
E multiplica hábitos alimentares saudáveis e conscientes. Mãos que semeiam, colhem, preparam e alimentam se colocam a serviço da população para reduzir o desperdício de alimentos e a fome daqueles que mais precisam. Inspirados nas nossas abelhas nativas, trabalhamos como uma colmeia, em cooperação, para promover um futuro em equilíbrio com o planeta. Essa é Curitiba, cidade onde a inovação é a semente de boas ideias.
Thanks a lot. And I very much appreciated that you had your phone on your leg to stay on the 5 minutes, even if you didn't succeed, but that was very nice. Thank you.
It's terrible. This is a terrible watchdog.
And now we move from Brazil, we move to España, to Spain. And the category is food supply and distribution. The name of the practice is green commerce, bringing sustainable products closer to the public. We have Alvaro Porro, Commissioner for Social Economy, Green, Local Development and Food Policy, as a city representative of Barcelona. And please, Alvaro, the floor is yours, and the involvement of traders, as you have been saying in these 3 days, is one of the key elements, perhaps, as you will tell us more about this. Por favor.
Okay, I'm gonna use it.
No, just I will take care.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I think I'm gonna switch into Spanish because I think there's more like a Spanish and Portuguese speaking people here. So sorry for the English people speaking. Yeah.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I would like to thank all the team and the Milan Pact. We have many of them here. And people from Rio de Janeiro for welcoming us here. Basically, I would like to talk about a project that has 2 parts and has to do with the responsibilities that the cities have. Urban agriculture has this transforming potential that is really important in terms of culture and to favor community life in the cities. But as cities, what we are consumers. So we have to focus our work in the changing of consumption habits. We must have responsibilities as demand actors because we are mainly consumers, as I said. I'm going to talk about 2 projects that is centered in the demand. Well, we start from 4 important ideas. One is the change in demand patterns of the main current consumers. And in Barcelona, we've seen that there is this cultural change in consumers. 60 to 70% of people want ecological products nearby, coming straight from producers. But in practice, this is it's not turned into actual purchases. There's a difference between what we say and what we do. And what we believe is we have from the public administration, we have to decrease this difference and make access easier to this type of projects. This would be the second major goal. And the third one would be we as a Mediterranean city, our urban network has to be able to maintain this nearby trade, because this generates a lot of occupation and jobs and a system linked with the local production. And how can we link the city with the primary sector, with agriculture? And how, as a city, we can be an opportunity for economic survival for the farmers in our region? They're being expelled by a food system doesn't count with the small farmers. And here we try to think a little bit about that. I think it's important to incorporate these small farmers. Also, Brazil is a country that has this significant agriculture and farmer movement. It's important to integrate them to the cities. Barcelona has a very important market sector, more than 200,000 people. We have 40 markets, and this network of municipal market, it has to be a core channel for the sales of sustainable products. It's important to look for the Traders Association, but in our city, this is a sector that doesn't like much changes, and it is very conservative.
And this is also a sector where it's very difficult to provide some new things, of course. There is an alliance between this man of the commerce man in the city and the producer. We have the green commerce, for instance, and what we do, we establish some criteria. Those wanting to have a green commerce will have to have a short circuit products and also a green product, buying directly from the farmers, the producers. This is one of the criterion. So not necessarily the three criteria, but at least one criterion. People can enter the channels of communication, for instance, that will make us the public to identify ourselves with the products. For instance, we have seen that in the supermarkets, the buying of those products increase, but not exactly in the public market. So we have to make this small markets to reposition itself. Otherwise, they will lose market share. Barcelona is a city where the fresh products purchase is only done in small markets. A lot of the populations buy these fresh products in other places. In the rest of Europe, this is not as common as it is with us. So we want to have a kind of a repercussion with that. And of course, different from what the supermarket chain is wanting to do. So we want to say that we have 557 affiliated market stalls. And in our idea is that once people embark in this idea, come on board in this idea, they can be more transformative in nature. So these are the next steps. We are trying to check or verifying the process for the correct application of the criteria. So how can we do to check that the commerces are really engaged and complying with our criteria? We check. There is this project, for instance, Terra Paguesa, Farmers Land, which is led by one of the largest farmers union in Catalonia. We have in Terra Paguesa, of course, developing this kind of alliance to facilitate and encourage independent commerce in the neighborhoods. I do not know if the landless movement in Brazil works exactly like that, but this is an agrarian association or rural association following along the lines that we have set up. So the consumers buy on the hands of these small farmers. They send their products to a shared center, and then the products are distributed to different centers. With that, we optimize the relationship between the farmers, the producers, and the buying public, so to speak. Now we are in a pilot phase. To be very honest with you, very candid, we have conventional products in yellow and the eco products in blue. You see, we have all this distribution, and we want to give different options to different people. Now our challenges, we are using digital tools to expand our project so that we can get more involvement in all areas. Thank you very much.
Sobre la sugerencia, no sé, Filippo
Filippo, about your suggestions, you're going to check what is coming next, right? The idea is to include the different cooperatives, right? Yes, okay, I'm going to leave this for you. I did not get exactly if the City Hall provides or gives a facility, a place, how this really works. I didn't understand really. How do you do? Well, this allows us to give them publicity or visibility. That's why. Oh, okay, very interesting. But as you said, it is not possible to do transformations without having a cultural change. Yes, you are right. And right now, last but not least,
consolidated ICNC, food rescue and waste diversion, improving management and recovery of food and food loss and food waste in the IC&I sector through regional servicing and cooperative financing. A pretty long one.
It's a good title.
Together today with us there is David Messer, city representative of Guelph, Canada. He is the manager of the Guelph City, the COIL Smart Cities Office. Hope I said everything quite right.
Perfect. That's great.
Okay, so the floor is yours, David. You have the responsibility to have the last to tell about the last practice.
Perfect.
So, thanks a lot.
Well, thank you so much for being here. It's great to tell everyone about this project, and I feel bad going from all these beautiful projects about lovely urban gardens and markets to now talk about garbage. So yeah. So I guess the question is, where does food waste come from, or where does the most food waste come from? And in our situation, we've done a lot of research on this, and there's been a lot of conversations this week about residents and getting residents to waste less food. But from our work, the vast majority of food waste comes from businesses. The most of it comes from upstream, from loss in packaging and manufacturing processes. But of the food that actually makes it down to potentially a table, 65% of the food waste in Canada comes from businesses in something we call the IC&I sector, the industrial, commercial, institutional sector. So this is grocery stores, restaurants, daycare centers, seniors' homes, hospitals, all of these places where food is prepared and often goes to waste. So in Canada, most municipalities compost residential organic waste. This is my personal green cart. And it's picked up weekly and it goes to compost. But municipalities only do this for residences, and only single-family residences, really, not even multi-residential buildings. So all of the waste from multi-residential buildings and from the entire IC&I sector typically ends up in landfill. So if we want to tackle food waste as part of climate change, solving for this is absolutely essential. And so if a business in this sector wanted to compost what they're doing, they would have to organize independently with a waste hauler. And it would cost them effectively double what they're paying for waste management now to try and do that. And for a small business, that's absolutely unattainable. So what we have is we have a population of businesses that are actually quite motivated to compost if they can, and we have lots of capacity to handle that compost in facilities and businesses who want that material. But what we're really lacking is a logistics solution and an affordability solution to make this whole thing happen. And so that's what this pilot is working on. So working very closely with our brilliant collaborators at the Circular Innovation Council, who conceived of this and then worked to stand up the pilot in Guelph and Wellington County, we've established a network of over 60 different businesses working across the region to divert their organic waste from landfill to compost. And it's all the types I mentioned: daycare centers, seniors homes, a hospital, several restaurants, grocery stores, etc. And we're seeing some very fantastic results with this in terms of the volumes that we're getting. And we're bringing it down so it's affordable for all of these businesses, just running it through realizing scale, just like any other municipal waste collection. Truck comes by once a week, picks up their waste. Very, very simple. But what we're trying to do is turn this into a cooperative model so that all of the businesses are paying exactly what it costs. There's no profit model in it. Everybody is doing it basically at the lowest cost possible. The other element that we're working into the system, is rescue and recovery of food. So working with Second Harvest, which is a large food rescue organization in Canada, we are helping these businesses put in the systems and the knowledge and the understanding to divert food waste to food rescue. We have dozens of businesses in this pilot now rescuing food who weren't before because they didn't know where to rescue food or what types of food they would be interested in rescuing. And so working with them over the past year, we have rescued the equivalent of 37,000 meals out of these 60 businesses, which is pretty fantastic. And the whole point of this project isn't just to do it for ourselves. What we're trying to do with our entire initiative is to test solutions that can scale across Canada. And that is something that we're working on now. So we're now working with another city, a much larger city in Western Canada through Circular Innovation Council, to build on this same pilot out there and test and scale that model. We're also working to implement data and technology solutions inside the waste bins. Right now, we have virtually no data on how much waste this sector puts out because it's private in a black box. So what we're doing is we're putting sensors in that'll get data on weights and volumes, and then we'll dashboard it. So all the daycares can see where they stack up versus the other daycares and hopefully try and reduce their waste. We can also use this technology to set up pay by weight models. And we're also working on new strategies to increase food rescue and build more collaboration on a regular basis between these businesses and organizations that can capture that food waste. And lastly, I just want to thank the Milan Pact for selecting us and giving us this recognition. This is a project that we are very actively trying to grow and scale across Canada, and I can't even tell you how much the international recognition will mean to help us accelerate that with our levels of government who will fund this and with the other cities in Canada that we'll approach with this project. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you was the best way to end this session with your enthusiasm. Thanks a lot, and thanks to all of you that you've been here with us listening to these 5 practices. I just want to ask you on behalf of the pact to have a photo, and if my director is willing to come on the stage to have the photo with us, and then we are all encouraged to move to the main plenary hall for the final session. Thanks a lot to everybody, and see you soon in the main hall.